Hello everybody. Today I will be talking about every Oklahoman interstate and each of their quirks. Just so you know, this video style was inspired by Beaver Geography. He has a great channel, go check him out. Let's start off with explaining some basic stuff about Oklahoma's interstates. Oklahoma has two major mainline interstates, one minor mainline interstate, and 6 auxiliary interstates. Major mainline interstates are interstates which generally go from coast to coast or country to country. All of them end in either a 0 or a 5 and have only 1 or 2 digits, with Oklahoma's being no exception. Minor mainline interstates are interstates intended to connect the major mainline interstates with each other and with other minor interstates, or sometimes to no other interstate. They can only have 1 or 2 digits and can end in any number other than a 0 or a 5. For both major and minor mainline interstates, their last digit indicates whether they go north-south or east-west. Interstates that end in odd numbers go north-south, and interstates that end with even numbers go east-west. Auxiliary interstates are interstates which disconnect from an interstate and either end at nothing, end at another interstate, or end at its original interstate. If they end at nothing, they are a spur route and get an odd number as their first digit. If they connect back to their original interstate or at another interstate, they are a bypass, and if they connect back to their original interstate at the same spot as they started, they are a beltway. If an auxiliary interstate is a beltway or bypass, its first digit is even. Even still, it cannot start with a 0. Now, an auxiliary interstate has 3 digits and we've only talked about its first. The other 2 digits in its number are taken from its original or parent interstate. For example, if there is an auxiliary interstate that doesn't connect back to its parent, I-70, it would either be 170, 370, 570, 770, or 970. Something important to note is that a single state cannot contain 2 auxiliary interstates with the same number. There can't be 2 I-170s in one state, though there can be as many I-170s as states I-70 goes through. Now with that important context out of the way, let's get into Oklahoma's interstates. I-35 runs north-south throughout the state, beginning from the south at the Red River border with Texas to the Kansas border. This interstate had some portions predating the interstate system's existence, making their inclusion easy. Other parts had to be built, with the I-35 in Oklahoma being completed in January of 1971. I-35 is toll-less throughout the entirety of the state, though once it gets into Kansas it turns into a toll road very quickly. It currently has 2 auxiliary interstates, I-235 and I-335. I-40 runs east-west through Oklahoma, beginning from the west at the Texan border to the Arkansas border on the east. This interstate was completed in 1976 and is currently toll-less throughout the entire state. From the Texan border to just west of Oklahoma City, it acts as a replacement to former US 66. In 2002, I-40 over the Arkansas River was struck by a barge, which caused it to collapse and kill 14 people. The interstate would temporarily reroute traffic through towns nearby while the bridge was replaced. Elsewhere, the section of I-40 through Oklahoma City known as the Crosstown Expressway started to decay and close more often for repairs. Eventually, a decision would be made to replace that section with a boulevard and reroute I-40 closer to the river. This would be completed in 2012. I-40 currently has 1 auxiliary interstate, I-240, and had a former auxiliary interstate, I-440. I-44 runs northeast-southwest through Oklahoma, despite being numbered as an east-west interstate. It begins at the Texan border in the southwest to the Missouri border in the northeast. It would be completed under its original plan in 1959, ending north of Oklahoma City instead of reaching Texas. All of the original route would parallel and partially replace former US 66. During Oklahoma's Diamond Jubilee celebrations, I-44 would be expanded past Oklahoma City and extended into Texas. This would replace existing parts of I-240 with I-44. Almost all of I-44 is a toll road, besides portions next to certain major towns in Oklahoma. It has 3 auxiliary interstates, I-244, I-344, and I-444. Now we get into the auxiliary interstates. I-235 is an auxiliary interstate of I-35, connecting I-35 with I-44. It was completed in 1989. With how it intersects with I-35 in the south, if you stay in the middle lanes of I-35, you end up on I-235. Similarly to this, if you stay in the middle lanes at its northern portion, you end up on US 77. I-240 is an auxiliary interstate of I-40, currently connecting I-40 with I-44. Its original plans would connect it from I-40 with a different section of I-40. The road would be completed in 1976, though not under its current route. This new route would loop around Oklahoma City, extending past its originally planned reunification with I-40. This is because it would merge with I-440 before I-440 would be completed. During the Diamond Jubilee celebrations, it would be truncated to only connect with I-44. This is its current route, though there are plans this year to expand it to connect up with the future I-344 by taking over part of State Highway 152. I-244 is an auxiliary interstate of I-44, connecting I-44 with another portion of itself. It was completed in December of 1975. This route partially surrounds downtown Tulsa, with I-444 completing the interstate box surrounding Tulsa. I-444 is an auxiliary interstate of I-44. Oddly enough, however, it begins and ends at different sections of I-244 rather than I-44, which is uncommon. The highway would be completed in 1983, though it would become unsigned in 1995. This was due to the large number of other highways also routed onto the same stretch of road it was on. I-335 is a future auxiliary interstate of I-35, despite it beginning in I-40 and ending in I-44. This is odd because it doesn't even connect to I-35 at all. The reason for this is that there are future plans to expand it southward to Purcell, which would finally connect it up with I-35. The highway would exist for many years, though it would only become an interstate highway in 2024. Before it was signed as I-335, there is a proposal to make I-240 a beltway around Oklahoma City. I-240 would overlap with various different highways, though this would be rejected to make way for two new interstates. As of recording this video, it is currently unsigned, though this is slated to change very soon. Something to note for both I-335 and I-334, the reason why they begin with a 3 instead of an even number, despite them both connecting two interstates to each other, is because most tollways, other than ones out of Oklahoma's control such as mainline interstates or US highways, begin with a 3 in Oklahoma. I-344 is a future auxiliary interstate of I-44. It currently begins at I-35 and I-44's interchange and ends at an intersection with State Highway 152. This highway has existed for many years and will be signed in 2024. I-440 is a former auxiliary interstate of I-40. It would have connected I-35 with I-40, though the interchange with I-40 was not completed until after it had become part of I-240. It would be nearest to completion in 1975 and would become part of I-240 in 1976. Lastly, there is one proposed interstate in Oklahoma that hasn't been accepted yet. I-42 is a proposed minor mainline interstate which would connect I-49 in Arkansas to I-35 in Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Arkansas originally proposed this interstate before withdrawing it. The reason why is due to an already approved I-42 being built in North Carolina, implying they would be connected one day, causing both states to withdraw I-42's submission. This is odd, however, as many interstates are split into two sections which are not intended to be connected together, such as I-76 in both Colorado and Pennsylvania. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching.